Hey there! Today we'll be looking at 5 musical SCPs. From cursed music sheets to weirdly complex instruments, there are a lot of tunes out there that you probably shouldn't listen to. Our first SCP, 012, is a handwritten musical score entitled On Mount Golgotha, which is sprawled across a number of pages of sheet music all written in human blood, sourced from multiple different subjects, or victims. This incomplete composition was first retrieved by an archaeologist during the excavation of a northern Italian tomb, which was exposed after a storm. O12's anomalous property is that individuals exposed to it are immediately driven to insanity, and are compelled to continue the composition using their own blood by any means necessary, often resulting in massive blood loss and internal trauma. So, as you can imagine, the archaeologist that discovered it and the first Foundation recovery team agents didn't fare so well. Now, as you've surely come to expect, the Foundation has of course exposed multiple D-class subjects to this anomaly in order to gather data and see what might happen if the composition is completed. Every single subject has succumbed to the same symptoms, and those who did manage to finish at least a section of the piece immediately took their own lives, declaring the piece to be impossible to complete. Furthermore, Foundation attempts to perform any section of the composition musically have resulted in horrible cacophonies barely resembling music, with no correlation or harmony between the instruments. So, while I'm by all means an advocate of the arts, I think this is one composition that's best left unheard. We can just let the Foundation have this one. Our next SCP, 4308, is a black 1991 Steinberger Scepter electric guitar. Simple enough, and stylish. Its anomalous property is that when played, well, according to the report, the subject enters an illusory state which represents the tune of the song in terms of emotion. Which is fucking nonsense. What it does is it gives the listeners extreme hallucinations and can also manifest physical symptoms such as paralysis or pain, with the player being immune to all of these effects. And the effects seem to vary based on what kind of music is being played. For example, during one test, a researcher played a soft, nameless melody for 3 minutes, which resulted in the D-class audience experiencing chest pains and regurgitating cherry blossom flower petals. But of course, the effects aren't always negative. In another test, a Dr. Cherry played an instrumental version of Deck the Halls. As a result, the audience members reported being transported back to cherished memories of Christmas with friends and families, those memories even being altered to be more pleasant, such as deceased friends and family members being present. That's nice. Oh, and the recovery log is sort of funny for this one. This anomaly was discovered in possession of an edgy 27-year-old rocker boy named Duke, and when Foundation agents showed up to take it from him, he just played a soulful melody that showed the agents waterfalls and scenes of failures from their lives, before promptly being shot. Oh, Duke. SCP-5895 is, it's really something. Notice the object class is The Simpsons Farting. Funny. Anyways, SCP-5895 is a band consisting of 3 multicolored humanoid entities with inconsistent body proportions. All 3 instances of SCP-5895 have been known to be extremely sociable and mostly play music out of depression or boredom rather than passion or expression, occasionally being seen even creating instruments through anomalous means. Their main anomalous property is that whenever one of them plays a musical instrument, the volume of the sound created is ridiculously loud, to the point of potentially causing tectonic shift or even volcanic activity. This music has been reported to be audible from 10 to 25 kilometers away, and hearing it is said to cause temporary synesthesia, the ability to hear colors or see music. Now, in case you haven't really caught on yet, this SCP appears to be somewhat of a living shitpost, especially once you take a look at their promotional material. Here is the cover of their 4th album, On the 27th Day of Christmas I Still Did Not Give a Fuck. Yeah, classy. And here is the back cover listing the name of some of the songs on this album, with classic hits such as Lord Hear Me Through My Ears of Corn, Captain Kirk and the War on Fascism, and Naked But Not Afraid. I do have to admit though, Summertime Snowman does go pretty hard. Now, all 3 band members have been known to willingly partake in numerous interviews, which at least has been a great help to the Foundation in learning more about them, such as their actual names.
Simon. My name is Simon, but as far as I'm concerned here, I'm an instance of SCP-5895. Your ways of naming things, not for me. Me and my band's mates can't ever really decide on a solid name on our band, so we usually change the name every few weeks. It totally sucks for Mort, who you call Instance 3, who's in charge of, art and promotional posters and stuff. But thanks for letting us express ourselves in other ways.
Do you know where you come from?
Yeah, while I was fighting these drug lords, I fell into a vat of concentrated punk rock jam. Okay, you aren't laughing, sorry. My first memory is the same as Mort's and Phil's. Time doesn't pass for us, really. Years feel like they go by in seconds. It's what happens when you don't age. My first memory was somewhere in Japan. Must have been a really long time ago, because it was barely populated and there was absolutely no cool tech around. No amps and nothing. Initially, as we integrated into society, we were seen as these super important beings, but that changed at our first gig. Music just felt right. It feels right, you know? Me and Phil were given guitars and Mort was rocking the bongos. God, we must have attracted the attention of the entire country. We played for a solid few days and nobody seemed to mind. I remember laughing when some guy told me how delicious our music was. It was a nice time, until it wasn't.
I see. And do you have memories of every single show you've performed?
God, yeah. It's hard to forget them, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Neither would Mort or Phil. And our best show? Pompeii, for sure. Damn, it was raining rocks. Easily our highest point. Nobody expected it either. We played so punky and loud, the whole city was covered in ash by the time we were done. Metal. We've been sort of chasing that high ever since then. Our last show was a bit underwhelming. Probably our biggest disaster was Mount St. Helens. We didn't even know what its top was going to come off. Don't get me wrong, it was cool and interesting, but our instruments got completely trashed. We have a plan though, a really good one.
Oh? Tell me more.
Yellowstone.
Now, if you've seen our earlier video, 5 SCPs the Foundation relies on, you can probably imagine why this sent the Foundation into an absolute panic. But thankfully, the band doesn't seem too content on escaping. For now. Well, they're definitely artists, that's for sure. If they weren't so edgy, I'd say they're kinda funny. But as it stands, let the Foundation keep them company. Now, SCP-4184 is a musical notation booklet which contains a piece of sheet music resembling Mozart's Requiem in D Mass minor, which sounds a little bit like this. Its anomalous property is a bit esoteric and weirdly specific. Basically, whenever an individual who has lost a blood relative in the past year plays or hears this piece, every document they write in the next 12 hours will be a letter addressed to the aforementioned dead relative. No matter what the subject tries to write about, they will end up writing one of these letters, but will not be aware of what they are writing. Subjects have also been shown to manifest severe grief and deterioration in mental state, likely as a result of some form of nostalgia or depression relating to their lost relative. Yeah, super specific, but kinda interesting. This anomaly was recovered after a composer was reported to have manifested severe mood swings and later suicidal tendencies, despite no history of any condition or life events that would logically lead to these symptoms. The composer, shortly before taking her own life, had stated she was listening to a song from the heart, and SCP-4184 was found on her bedside table, showing signs of wear, as if the song had been played extensively. As they do, the Foundation went on to subject multiple D-Class subjects to this composition in order to learn more about its effects. In one test, D59041, whose grandmother had expired 2 weeks prior to the test, was instructed to listen to SCP-4184 and then write about his favorite sport. The resulting letter read as follows. Grandmama, are you out there? It's me, your Bill. It's been a long time since I talked to you, Grandmama, but I want you to know that I love you, and I miss you. I'm sorry for taking it a bit too far. I remember those nights where you used to make me lemonade, sit me down and tell me about Dad, tell me jokes, tell me stories. Oh, the fun we used to have. I remember when you used to tuck me in at night, but when I grew older, I guess I thought that I didn't need that anymore. So I suppose that's why I stopped talking to you and Pops. And we didn't end up talking for a long, long while after that, and that's probably why I ended up where I am now. I had a family. No matter now. I went to jail, Grandmama, and Dad and Mom don't even visit anymore. As lonely as I may be, Grandmama, I still love you. And I know if you knew where I was, you'd come visit too. You always did try to because you loved me too. I suppose this one's a little sweet. Sure, some of those exposed to this anomaly had some more adverse effects, but in essence it seems like it's just a piece of sheet music that, well, helps you process grief. Maybe we should all take some time to write letters to our loved ones, even to those who can no longer read them. And finally, for our last anomaly, we have SCP-CN1440, which is a first for us here as it comes from the Chinese branch of the Foundation, and is not to be confused with SCP-1440. This SCP is quite simply a bonsai tree. Its anomalous properties manifest when it is brought within 1.8 meters of a musical instrument, at which point the instrument will begin autonomously playing a piece of music at an absurdly high tempo on loop. This anomaly was discovered when a resident of a city in Jiangxi, China, complained to the media about the incessant sound of a piano playing with no melody to speak of coming from his neighbor's apartment. As the apartment was unoccupied, Foundation agents embedded in the media agency quickly swooped in, containing the anomaly and suppressing all traces of the story. Now, at first, this item was dismissed as a simple anomalous item, but was upgraded to full SCP status when a researcher was unexpectedly killed while experimenting within its containment chamber. This researcher was found with an open circular wound in his left abdomen, several of his ribs pulverized, his heart, lung, and spleen destroyed, and inside the chest cavity was the researcher's fountain pen, completely undamaged except for some bloodstains. Now, as it turns out, this researcher had a bit of a habit of rhythmically tapping his pen on his desk while working, which was enough for SCP-CN1440 to consider it an instrument. So when the researcher walked within range of the anomaly with the pen in their breast pocket, well, I'll let you imagine the rest. It always makes for an interesting twist when an anomaly shows unexpected signs of sapience. Or, as the youth would say, everybody gangsta till the bonsai tree decides a pen is an instrument. Anyways, that's all we have for this week. My takeaway: remember to express yourself. No matter what you produce, it certainly can't do any more harm than any of these anomalies. And I personally would love to hear it. Or see it, or eat it, or whatever. Anyways, stay safe, and remember to ask yourself, is ignorance safer than truth?